So we focused a lot on revising, considering organization, content, thinking about your audience, how to say things to interest them or to make them see exactly what it is that you're saying. We're going to stop and talk a little bit more about that proofreading and editing aspect. It's always good to go back over your own stuff, but it's also really hard to catch your own stuff. There's actually reasons for this. Take a look at this diagram, and if it's not really working on the video, you can ask me and I can send it to you, or you can actually probably Google it yourself and find a copy. But follow the instructions and see if you can get the circle to disappear and the line to become complete. Now this might take a little work. You might have to go back and forth a little bit to really make this work. Make sure that you close one of your eyes. It doesn't have to be your right eye, but it happens a lot quicker if it is. So your mind, what is happening here is when that circle falls into your blind spot, your mind is filling in the blank. That's why you don't just see a dark line all the time when you're looking around the room. It knows there's white on the left of the circle, there's white on the right of the circle, so in between must be white. This is just a physical blind spot that everybody has, and everybody's mind fixes it. Now the next thing is particularly interesting. It's a study done. This is one version of it. There's also one that talks about how we can read words when the vowels are missing. Not everybody can do it, but a lot of people can. And so take a look at this next one. Try to read it on your own first. Basically what this is saying is that it doesn't matter in what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letter be in the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without problem. This is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Now, think about this. If you could read this, I can read it. It says about 55% of people can read it. But if you know what that is supposed to say, if your mind can make this make sense, think about how it can make your own errors make sense. So what's going on here is if we take these two concepts together, your mind has the ability to fix things. It can fix these little imperceptions. That's why the circle's not there. That's why you can read the words. Now imagine that it's something you wrote. Now, you know what you meant to say. You may even know the right way to spell that word or the right way that it should be punctuated, but you're not going to catch it. A lot of the times, you're not going to catch it, especially if you're close. If you go think back to the revision handout, one of the things they told you is to take a break, wait, go back. Take a break, wait, go back. The longer you can wait, the better, because the farther you get away from that, the less your mind remembers about what it was you meant to say, and the more it forces your mind to look at what is actually on the page. This will help with revising because you might pick up something like an incomplete thought process, but it really helps with editing. The best way to get around this is to have somebody else look at your work. Now, they might miss a few things because of the things we just talked about, but they're not going to know exactly what it was you meant to say, and so therefore they're going to be able to pick up on the spelling errors, the grammar mistakes, that kind of thing, because it's going to stand out to them since it's the first time they're looking at it. Whereas for you, if you know it's supposed to be there, you know what it's supposed to say, it's going to make sense to you. Now, if you don't have somebody to look over your work, there are a few things that you can do. Now these may sound gimmicky, but they really do work. One is to read it out loud. It just changes the way that your brain is processing the information. We we have to focus a little more when we have to pronounce things. So reading it out loud can really help. This is also really great for revision, for flow, for seeing how if things sound natural. Read it backwards, and I don't mean read the words backwards. If you know you make a bunch of spelling or typo errors, that might be a good idea. But I mean read the sentences backwards. So don't read the paper in the order that it should happen. You know, start in the middle or start at the end and start reading each sentence backwards. This forces your mind to focus on the individual sentence and not the thought process, because once you get your mind in that thought process, it starts going again. Change the font or file type. Now that will change the way that it looks, and it tricks your mind into thinking that it's looking at something new. Don't forget, you do get extra credit for sending your essay to a writing tutor and having them look it over. So definitely consider that, half a letter grade, and plus the grade's probably going to be better anyway if you take into consideration their comments that they gave you. I look forward to reading all of your final copies. Don't forget, they're not due at the end of week 2, but they're due 2 days after on that Friday. Give you just a little bit more time to perfect them, have somebody look at it, all that kind of stuff. So good luck, and I look forward to reading them. Happy writing!